Welcome, friends, to Tanked Up, the podcast, all about video games and beer. I'm one of your hosts, Ben, here with Lucy.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
It is episode 453. We're going to drink some beers, we're going to talk about some games, and anything else we fancy for an hour or so. Lucy, what are you going to drink this evening?
I am drinking a brew, but it's actually leaves that have been steeped. It's a cup of tea.
Nice, fair.
Yeah. I'm winding down the evening. Friday evening with a cup of tea because I'm just so fun these days.
You haven't broken into the Christmas stash yet, then, of beers.
I don't actually have any beer left. I had my last couple cans yesterday. So yeah, I think I have a Christmas beer from last year, actually.
Nice.
Knocking about. But yeah, I think other than that, I think I'm pretty much out. So yeah, we're going to have to do a beer shop before the end of the year.
Nice.
Sure.
Well, this evening I've got a beer from Tempest, who I haven't seen for a very, very long time. Down here, and I was kind of thinking to myself, what kind of breweries haven't I had for a while? What kind of beers am I looking forward to for sort of the winter? I think last week I had a beer from Cloudwater. I put an order in with them a few weeks ago and got a couple of their kind of seasonal beers, a festive pale and a bit of a lighter stout. So from Tempest I've ordered like 4 11% stouts basically from them, and a couple of other beers, one of which I'm going to drink this evening, and continuing my West Coast IPA run at the moment, which I think is now three episodes perhaps. This is Brave New World. It is 7% and is a West Coast IPA from Tempest. You can't quite see some silhouettes in the desert on the can, and a little bit of flavour text that says, "This goes out to the crazy ones, to the wild-eyed, to those who chase tomorrow. Brave New World is a future-proofed India Pale Ale with everything levelled up. Maximum bitterness, pithy grapefruit, resinous pine, all underpinned by the finest malt. See you on the other side." It says it's hopped with Chinook, Centennial and Citra. So some of the C's. There is, as I've not quite seen on there, so there's a QR code on the back of their can with a little arrow saying scan for tasting notes and more. So a bit more information potentially on their website, which I'm sure you can find if you search for the beer and go to their shop. So it arrived, as the Cloudwater beers did, very cold. So I don't know if Tempest are like cold chain deliverers, whether it came on the back of something.
It's probably just cold in the back of a van.
It is very cold at the moment, yeah, absolutely. And it's travelled down from the north, so it's probably got slightly warmer as it's come down, but maybe not that much, really.
1 degree warmer.
That's probably about right, to be fair. It has been very, very bitter here today, and it does feel like I had a stout last night, just a lighter one from Lost and Grounded, because I've seen their running with Spectres beer out and about recently, so I grabbed a couple of those, and it was that lighter kind of stout when it's that little bit colder is just right to sort of hit your evening with. Kind of one of those things. I didn't want to drink much. I kind of just wanted a beer. So it was sort of just right for that. But I don't know why I'm into my bigger percentage West Coast beers at the moment, but maybe it is the season. Maybe it's that little bit bitter. It's something that's not really refreshing. It's not light. It's normally danker. It's normally heavier. So yes, that's what I'm grabbing this evening. And you can see, if you're a viewer, you'll see it's very, very clear. Very similar to the beer I had last week, maybe even darker, maybe more amber than sort of gold that the beer was last week. It's a lovely big nose, like really, really big. Kind of as big that it burst out of the can as I kind of cracked it. But it's nice. It's sort of, you get a little bit of that. I think they said grapefruit in the flavour text, but there's a bit more of that kind of maltiness in this on the nose. There's a little bit of sweetness, not very much. There's more kind of bready and maybe even edging on, like the sweetness is a bit more sort of not quite caramel, but something similar to that. Like not a sweet, but something that's maybe a little bit more burnt kind of sweetness to it, definitely. But it's a lovely nose.
These West Coast IPAs have got that much more malt forward, so I guess that does tie in with that, kind of like autumnal kind of weather, because it hasn't hit winter yet. Hopefully it doesn't. I don't want to see any snow, any sleet, nothing to that effect.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's coming at some point over the next couple of weeks.
Usually we've gotten like more closer to barbecue weather on Christmas Day the last decade or so.
We have.
I remember as a kid it used to snow like every Christmas. I haven't had that for years. Yeah.
Just that little bit warmer, even though it feels cold. Just that not quite cold. I mean, it snowed here a week ago, only like a little flurry, really early in the morning. Enough that the kids were like, "Can we just go outside?" Like, yes, okay, go on, just get your coats on and just go out and play in the snow for all of 30 seconds because it's not settling anywhere. It rained in the night. It's all wet everywhere, but at least you're stood in some snow. Cool, done. So it was enough for the novelty of it, but not enough to do anything. Didn't close anything down ultimately. So this it's interesting because caramel is the wrong flavour. It's definitely got that burnt sweetness to it, and it does have that more sort of not sour, but that kind of very, very ripe grapefruit, that kind of bitterness that runs through, and it does lean then into a much more resinous, much more piney finish to it, but it's oddly very light when you first sip it, and the kind of the fore flavour isn't sweetness. It's not. It is that slightly breadier, maltier kind of sweetness to that beginning of the beer, but it instantly hits you then with that bitter punch, which runs through ripe grapefruit into a resinous, piney sort of note, and then kind of leaves you with that bit of combination of those two kind of levels of bitterness, almost. And it's almost getting towards. It's not quite there, but it's getting towards that slightly ashy, sort of cigarette kind of ashtray sort of bitterness. It's not there. It's not too far, but it definitely gives me a little bit of that. It's a little harsh, not too much, but just a touch enough that you can differentiate between like the levels of bitterness in it. It's not just here's the bitterness on the end. So no, we've got a couple of things going on in here.
Okay. Interesting.
But it's almost like it feels like it's actually going to be a really wet beer when you first sip it, and you're like, oh, this could go two ways. One of these is going to be a lovely, refreshing, light, fluffy sort of taste, and the other way is exactly what you get. It dries you out instantly. It's just that bitter punch that flows then through. The maltiness, that sweet maltiness kind of stays, and it's maybe more on the sort of the toffee end than the sort of the caramel, perhaps. But yeah, it's a lovely combination of things that really, I think, flow quite nicely. You're sort of left towards the end that you can kind of tell it's a bit bigger. You can tell it's maybe 7%. We've talked at length about a few breweries at the moment which are brewing 8% beers that you just have no idea that they would be 8%. They feel a little lighter. This has a bit of heft to it. It feels not big, but at least that there is something kind of to it. And actually, it feels a bit bigger than 7%. You'd probably put this higher at like 8.5 or something like that, perhaps. because of that bit of a heft that kind of leaves you in. Because when the bitterness starts to subside, you've got that little bit of and I think this is all to do with the mouthfeel, that bit of ashiness, that harshness. There's also that little bit of burn on it. Again, not much, but it's just creeping in as you sort of let it sit just right at the back of your throat. That it kind of feels like, oh, there is something else. This is a bigger beer. There's that little bit of alcohol content kind of to it. But yeah, I mean, this is as a first few sips, this is lovely. It's perfect for a night, very cold, wet kind of night. So yeah, lovely beer to kick into. And I don't know what. You see the logo just in the corner? It says, and I assume it's just the Tempest's logo, Tempest Brewing Company. It just says TBC with a big lightning bolt flying down the bottom, like there's some kind of 70s metal band. Which I like, but I've never seen it before.
No, I've just Googled it, and they Google Tempest, and first image that comes up, it's a pint glass, and it's got that same lightning bolt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm wondering if that's newer branding, because I haven't had Tempest in a while. But yeah, I don't recall seeing that logo either.
I mean, they've probably had it for years, but it's just been so long since we've actually had a beer from them.
Possibly, yeah, yeah, because it's on the. I think it's on the pint glass. Don't they have a really big tap room? Wow.
Do they?
Yeah, maybe it was maybe they had maybe a little rebranding or something like that, or it's yeah, it's on their pint glass. I don't see it on any of their other like kind of logos or labels, so don't know. Interesting. But yeah, they've got a massive tap room by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Nice. Up in the Scottish borders? Like as in a tap room attached to the brewery rather than sort of a separate.
Let's have a look. Tap room. I imagine it's okay. That's where it's on Tweedside Park. New brewery. Okay, so from 2024, the new home of Tempest is Tweedside Park, sorry, in the old Barber Clothing Factory, with a huge brew house, 2 taproom spaces, bigger beer garden and shop, just a stone's throw from the old site, and only a 5-minute walk from Tweedbank train station. So yeah, moved there in 2024. Maybe, I mean, the kind of lightning logo does kind of align with new tap room, we're hip down with the cool kids.
Yeah,
Kind of aesthetic. So yeah,
nice.
Good for them.
Absolutely. I don't know if they've got a like an about. I don't think they've got an about on their website, because they've been around. Must be as long as we've been podcasting for, 9-10 years, something like that. They've kind of always been there, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely one of the earlier breweries that I recall. From a garage in New Zealand to Scotland. There would be a better way of finding this. Founding year, early 2010.
Okay. Wow.
So
nice. 15 years.
15 years. Yep. Nice.
Yeah. Good. Well, I've got a lovely bunch of stouts to get into from them as well over the next. I've sort of been not hoarding, but at least building up my kind of stash. So my week off that I'll have over the Christmas period, I've got like at least kind of one bigger beer to have on each of those days. And currently I've got two Northern Monk stouts, 2 beers from Cloudwater, and now 4 from Tempest. So I might get one more in before Christmas. I don't know. Don't know who I'll go for. But yeah, I feel like maybe 8 isn't quite enough. Maybe 12 would make me
Not
feel
for the
maybe.
festive
Yeah,
period. You need
absolutely.
way more than that.
Well, I
You
mean,
need double that.
yeah, but I'll have a bunch, right? I'll go round the corner and I'll get a couple of Lost and Grounded and a few Harbour and some Hybrid. You know, I get all the sort of the Bristol staples. I've started seeing a few. I had a Cinder Toffee Stout from New Bristol Brewery the other night. So I've started seeing their kind of more winter kind of collab stouts out and about as well. So I'll pick some more up. But I think there's probably another like order to put in somewhere. Whether it's something ridiculous, you know, another absurd stout maker like Tartarus or someone like that. I might sort of search for, but it's all stouts, just sat in the fridge and box.
The Siren Caribbean chocolate cake ones. I had one yesterday that was
Nice.
really nice, and I had one I think about 2 weeks ago. Shared it with someone. That was 14%. Had no idea. Because I just picked up any two. I was like, okay, I'll pick up 2, and that one was the 14% one. So it's good that I only had half because I was driving. But that was really nice as well. But yeah, I might pick up a few more of those again if they're still in the bottle shop that I go to. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to pick up for Christmas.
It'll have to be
at least stouts.
Yeah,
it certainly has to be stouts.
A nice hefty sort of bottle shop visit. Come out with just a box full of stuff to put in the car.
Yeah, maybe I should. I don't even know what I'd get over there. To Cartridge Wines, which is and Sturchley Wines, which are the ones that have the most selection. Don't know if I'll get there by the end of the year, but might have to do an online order or something.
Yeah.
But then I'm just like, oh, or I could just there's Left Field Beer in Birmingham. They're still going. Because then just mix and match. But
Nice.
I don't think I've bought from them all year.
You have to find like a morning where you can be like, cool, I'm just going to drive to Attic, then I'm going to drive to Left Field, then I'm just going to go over to Cottridge, and then that'd be me done. Like I get a couple from them, a couple from them, and I'll pick the rest up from here, and then I can just be done. I never have to leave the house for another week and a half.
That could be tomorrow, but it's whether I actually want to wake up.
Yeah. Nice. I will drink this, and we can get into some games. Some game discussion. I've got a couple of games I want to talk about. But Lucy, you missed the episode where Adil and I talked about the Steam hardware releases, and I thought maybe we'd just start with your thoughts on any of the sort of the products that Steam have not quite put out yet, but at least have suggested are coming from the new controller or the Steam machine or the Steam frame, which is the VR.
Is that the VR? Yeah, yep. VR's never going to be for me. The controller, don't care.
Yep.
Yeah, the Xbox controller is, in my opinion, the most comfortable one. What's the box called?
It's just Steam machine.
Oh, okay. All right. So they still had the TM on that.
Absolutely, yes. They finally made it work.
Yeah. I need to replace the hard drive in my PC. It broke probably a year ago, and I just haven't got around to it because it just hasn't been a priority. And it's like I work at this desk every day.
Yep.
Probably the last thing I want to do is play games from this seat every day. I'd rather just chill out with the Steam Deck. So that's why it's like, okay, it's so easy to replace a hard drive, but it's just I still haven't got around to it, which is insane that it's been like over a year now. But given that it's been so long, I probably could do with updating I don't even know what graphics card is in this. I don't even know. I can't even remember. I will think of what it is whilst I continue the conversation. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I could do with just upgrading the whole thing really, but I don't even know what prices are like right now. If the Steam machine was to be priced at, say, I don't know, max 600, 700, and it's got the specs of what I'd probably upgrade my PC to.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be a bit more expensive than just buying the hard drive and the graphics card, probably, but I'd consider it. I'd
Yeah.
consider it
Yeah.
because I don't really game much on this, on PC anyway, and it seems like the Steam machine could be just be like, oh, if I fancy it, and there you go. Because yeah, like in terms of using PC for anything else, I'm fine with just a laptop at the moment.
Sure.
Yeah, because I don't really, because the work I do is like, you need a word processing document and Excel, and that's it really. So yeah, I'd consider it. I'd consider it. Just like it probably wouldn't be a replacement forever. I'd probably get another PC one day, but in terms of like where I'm at now, where it's just like I don't really need a PC, but sure, if this was something and I could just basically having my Steam library, because like I don't really buy games on Xbox that much anymore. Because it's like if they come to Game Pass, that's good. I'm never gonna buy. I feel so terrible in saying this because yes, developers should be paid, but I'm never gonna buy a game day one for £70 because I'm just not gonna play it day one for
Yeah.
£70. And things inevitably come to Steam for cheaper and go on sale cheaper. I think there was like a study done where it was like, yes, on the whole, Steam games are getting cheaper. Whereas it's like the inverse for console. Like they're wanting to charge us like £80 and play the game 5 days early or get a Nicki Minaj skin paying like 150 quid and it's like no thank you. Yeah, so the Steam machine, it hasn't been like, oh, I can't wait. When's one going to come out? It's just like, I'll wait and see. We'll see what the price is. See if it still aligns with, what I want / need. And if it does, yeah, I'm happy to waste money on on a cute little GameCube box. Why not? Yeah, why not?
Hasn't got the handle though. It's not quite as good as the GameCube because you can't pick it up with a little handle on the back.
Yeah, because my TV and my PC are pretty much next to one another, so I could just switch them out. Good night. I haven't really looked into anything with the Steam machine. I was like, that's a cute little box. I think I had a look at the specs. I had a look that they hadn't announced the price, and I was like, okay, wait and see. So yeah, I'd have to look into it more once it actually gets some more details.
Yep.
Written about it. But if they're gonna like prices at like £1,000, I'll just be like, okay, that's me out.
Sure.
I don't know how they could, because that just seemed pointless and seemed like the same way the original Steam machines were going, just in a very who is this for? Very muddy, not clear kind of. Well, it didn't really have a unique selling point.
No. Ultimately, it was the idea was any manufacturer could make a Steam machine. You just have like big picture mode, like installed on it, and it just runs into Steam OS, as the Steam Deck does. But the Steam Deck, and the joy of, as me and Adil talked about, sort of the joy of it is actually jumping into the kind of the desktop mode on Linux and being able to patch in lots of different stuff and bring other things in. And
That is
Steam Machine is
appealing.
going to be the same thing. It's running in the
Yeah.
same kind of way. You can actually just turn it into a Windows machine. You can turn it into a completely different machine if you wanted to.
I
So
was speaking about that with someone at work today. Because I have a MacBook for work and it's the bane of my existence, and I cannot stand it. And I mean, Windows is already like turning me off, but
yeah,
Windows looks like it's like Eden compared to MacBook. But even so, it's like, could this be the opportunity to actually learn Linux?
yeah.
Because that's also like, from a nerdy point of view, that'd be like, okay, that's extra incentive. Even though I could just do that from like this laptop. I don't know, buying a £700 machine that I don't need to do that just sounds more appealing. Yeah, so we'll see. Where did you and Adil land on it? Other
I think
than
we sort of
the fact they can
landed,
just be anything.
yeah, on the idea that the Steam Machine isn't really made for us. It's kind of feels, whether they want it to be or not, it does feel like it's more a competitor to a console for it to sit, like as you say, on your TV rather than it being a whole setup in and of itself. And we've got the Steam Deck for that if we want some kind of different experience elsewhere. You're then coming, I suppose, across whether the Steam Deck and the Steam Machine as a set of products are closer than to the Switch 2 in terms of using the handheld and then docking it, that kind of experience. Similarly, I think the thing we were most excited about was just the technology of it. The whole idea of streaming the games and the specifications of the kit. Actually how slim the frame looks and the sort of the camera setup in it, and that it's wireless, that kind of thing. I think it's
the what? It's got a camera.
So it's the with the Steam VR, it's got 4 cameras in the front to do all of the tracking, rather than the previous versions having to have kind of cameras in the corners of the room to pick up
so
where you are. The headset
to use a Steam VR, do you need the Steam machine?
No. The Steam machine in of itself is the Steam frame, which is the VR headset, is a mini Steam machine. Everything now is exactly the same, almost. There'll be slightly different specifications in terms of how they run, but the Steam frame can have games. That can have games installed.
I thought the GameCube had a camera. I'm like, why?
I don't know. To be fair, I don't know whether the Steam machine has a camera, but I don't think it probably does. But yes, no, the frame has, the idea that the frame is this really lightweight kind of pack, and that they balance the battery on the back of the headset, so you get that level of balance rather than having all of these wires everywhere and you feeling like top heavy and stuff. The ergonomics of it, the way they've designed it, that's the thing that sort of excited us more than, say, the actual use of it or wanting to kind of get one and that sort of stuff. All of us have PCs, reasonably sort of spec'd, and most of us, all 3 of us, to be fair, probably ready for an upgrade as well at some point. And I have been looking at some ridiculous, like workstations instead of actual PCs, just because of work ultimately, running to 2.5 to 3K and being like, no, absolutely no, I'm not spending that much on something, but I have something that works perfectly well for everything that I kind of need it to do. And then having the PS5 downstairs, I've got that console experience. Kind of I could have a unified library and just switch to Steam and have everything on there.
That sounds so appealing. Like, I could just buy the PlayStation games that I still haven't played on Steam and play them on my TV using a Steam machine, which is probably 1,000th of the size of a PS5. So
oh man, it must take up so little footprint in comparison to the PS5. I did read, and it would be interesting to see, with that in mind, I read something a couple of weeks ago, which I'm trying to find it.
It's funny because someone I know, he recently moved into his first house, and he's bought a PS5. And I said, "Is that why you moved house? You needed space to PS5."
It's got a whole room just for the
Yeah.
PS5. I know. I don't know how the PS5's taken over from the Xbox fridge. Sort of in this size
It's
battle.
massive.
Yeah,
I can't believe how big it is, and the Slim is no small.
absolutely. So talking about, just before we get into anything that we've played, this was reported back in late November, but PlayStation, the games that they have released have, and this is just on Steam, have grossed $1.5 billion.
Oh wow! That is a
And
lot.
Helldivers is a huge proportion of that. Helldivers 2, a huge
Really?
proportion of that. But then Horizon, God of War, Days Gone, all up in units sold wise in a reasonable sort of amount. And it suggests that there's a graphic on TechSpot, which ran the story, that $1.5 billion is the gross revenue for PlayStation generated through Steam, and they've shifted 43 million copies of games. 12.7 million of those being Helldivers 2 at the time of writing. 4.5 for Horizon Zero Dawn, 4.2 for God of War. So it's massive. And you imagine,
like, why wouldn't you at this point? Like,
absolutely.
I'm sure like the best-selling game for PlayStation the month it came out was like Forza.
Yes.
So
it was
just like, why wouldn't you just release everything everywhere?
Absolutely.
Instead of closing every studio, because you have no money apparently, why wouldn't you just put everything?
I think it's the difficulty, and you would imagine perhaps it affects the development of PS6. It's the time that they've not given the PC ports necessarily to other studios. They've kind of allowed the studio that made the game to do the PC port with support, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why there is this bit of lag between timeframes and what games are coming out a year, if not slightly more, on PC than they had done. Maybe Horizon 2 was one that was a little bit kind of quicker. I think Days Gone is like 4 years since it had come out that then it got ported over to PC. But maybe the more recent Horizon, Forbidden West, was maybe about a year or 18 months, something like that, for it to get ported over to PC. You'd imagine those timeframes are going to shrink as they go, let's put more funds. Actually, let's accelerate this. We know that it will sell on PC.
Yeah.
We know that we're actually making a reasonable kind of profit over on Steam. So it's kind of silly not to, almost at this point, isn't it? And to be able to go, cool, well, actually now with the Steam machine and the idea that this is kind of going to sit in people's lounge, is that a direct competitor to the PlayStation hardware? Well, yes, it is. But if we then can aggressively price whatever the next hardware is, there is then that level of competition which hopefully will raise again everyone's game that little bit to try and sort of bring their prices down or put in better technology or actually have a generational leap, which we haven't really had for like two generations as such. Pixel density and
I don't think that they will exist from here on out. So, I mean, who cares about graphics anyway? Just give me some PS2 or PS1 rather level polygonal muddy graphics and I'm happy.
Match tank controls done. Just play it all the time. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Plus kids these days, they love AI slop, so it doesn't matter what things look like. Everything can just look as ugly as like Fortnite and they'll lap it up. So
yeah, absolutely. Good. Okay. Let's talk about some games that we've been playing then. I have managed, I don't know whether, again, and Adil's brought this up before, when I am busy, I manage to find time to play games. And I am busy, and I have found lots of time to play games.
It's a skill.
I don't know whether I'm just like so wired currently, just through work and stuff, that I'm just staying up that little bit longer, or I'm gaming that little bit earlier in the morning. I'm getting on the Steam Deck a bit earlier. I'm finding that time rather than being like, actually, no, sleep. Sleep is the thing.
I think parents are just way more efficient because it may be the last time you ever play a game having children. So
to be fair, that
you're
yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Take every fucking opportunity you can. But I have been bouncing a reasonable amount between a bunch of different games. I spoke about Moonlight 2 a few weeks ago, which I'm really, really enjoying. I've been playing a lot of Battlefield 6 still. That's lessened slightly. I'm getting in every other day on Battlefield 6, perhaps, dependent on sort of what we're up to, and that might only be 2 or 3 kind of games on it. Although the other night I spent like 4 hours just playing Battlefield 6. But I have bounced between a few new games that I've had. One of which is called, I was just trying to find it on Steam, but I've been playing it on PS5. A game called A Pizza Delivery. It is on Steam. There we go.
Okay.
And it's...
Is this the one with the raccoon?
No.
Okay,
Well, I don't think so. It's an odd game because it's, in one sense, I feel like it's I believe it's a solo dev who has produced it. Came out sort of early November. It's an odd game because it's trying to be a little more arty, to push not a story, but at least a message, a theme, trying to evoke a sense of feeling. And I think it does that reasonably well, but the gameplay doesn't match up to the expectation of what you're kind of trying to push as a story. And it's a little bit of a puzzle game. It's a little bit of a narrative sort of, not walking sim, but your bike sim. You're on a moped delivering pizza, and it tries to kind of get into, I think, a lot of the struggles of mental health and loneliness and connection. And these another game with a bike talking about should we have connected? It's like Death Stranding 3, basically.
Yeah.
So
Season with like Death Stranding.
Yes, I'll come on to Season momentarily. Okay. But A Pizza Delivery is janky as fuck. It's kind of one of those games where it feels like it was made in dreams rather than like in like an actual game engine. You when you're on that bike, you slide around like a motherfucker. Like it doesn't feel like a bike. You don't have that sense of motion. You drift so much on this thing, and there's lots of little kind of mechanics which don't quite work very well. And it in its core, it's kind of this puzzle game, but at times it just sheds that entirely to be like, well, you've gone through here and you've spoken to this person and they want some pizza, so work out how you can get that pizza to them. You're like, okay, well, here is the puzzle then, right? I can work out how I've got to get that to them. Oh, I've just got to do this. Oh, it's not actually a puzzle as such. It's just a little tiny bit of kind of logic to it, and it's got a few little side games. Well, no, they're not really side games. It's stuff that you can do. Like if you take the pizza to someone and they might say, let's do this, and you do it, and it's just a bit of button pressing, not a huge amount, kind of more to it. And I can see why that's lightweight in the game, right? Why the gameplay is a little bit lightweight, because it's trying to push that narrative, that emotion, that kind of slightly more message heavy element to you. But that doesn't quite hit either. And is just like the game kind of is, just a little bit heavy-handed, I suppose.
Okay.
So it's kind of, I can see the potential in what this could have been had it released in a year's time or something like that. Everything just being tightened that little bit and just being improved that little bit. But at the moment, it's just not hit for me, unfortunately.
Yeah, a bit rough around the edges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, as you've mentioned, Season was kind of the closest, or sort of as I was playing it, I was thinking to myself, it's very similar in that sort of sense. Okay, switching out a bicycle for a moped now, and there's even though Season is quite empty in terms of wider open spaces, not many characters to kind of talk to. Season is full of life. Like everywhere you look, there is environmental storytelling. There are characters. There's a bounce between those characters where you kind of talk to them and then go off and do something, and you can return to them. You take photos through that game. You're experiencing the environment. A pizza delivery feels very similar, or has the potential to feel very similar, but a lot of the time you're just moving through the space without having to really kind of take anything in, even though there is a sense of environmental storytelling. There wants to be that level. And I think a pizza delivery is almost like Season would be the next step up.
Yeah.
It's maybe being a bit of disservice to Season. It's maybe a couple of steps up from a pizza delivery. But it's where a pizza delivery could be in a year's time.
Yeah.
It just needs that bit more to it, really. And if someone really wants to play a game where you're riding around on a bicycle or a bike or something like that, Season would be the game to play.
Yeah, I mean, when you said pizza delivery, I was thinking like a Crazy Taxi kind of like game. Yeah, you describing it as a story focused like game that's trying to deal with heavy topics such as like mental health and stuff like that. I was like, that's not what immediately gets evoked when I think of pizza delivery. Is there any like kind of like comedic levity to the game or anything like that, other than the janky physics and stuff
like a little bit,
okay.
in some of the interactions with the characters. Not much. It feels like it's actually more trying to jar and not shock as such, but at least rattle in some of the interactions that you have, in some of the collectibles that you get, in the memories that the character sort of brings up and things like that. There is a little bit in it, but I don't know whether it's definitely not enough to balance out against this sort of the heavier side of things that you're sort of dealing with. And I think the difficulty of this, and games of this kind of level, is that there's no voice acting. So you don't get the nuance, you don't get the tone that these interactions might want to put across when you're just reading, when it goes, as text kind of appears on the screen. You don't kind of feel that same level of connection and emotion where you would do if you had something that was maybe narrated or voice acted to even to a low level, of at least getting that tone across with some of these interactions between characters, because that can completely change and set the scene for that conversation between those characters versus kind of just seeing the words on the screen. So it's one where it would have been nicer to have that little bit more between all of the characters, kind of just to get that sense of connection, perhaps, between who the character that you're embodying and everyone that she kind of comes across. So not too hot on a pizza delivery. I think I've played.
Does it make you want pizza though?
No, it doesn't.
Bad game.
The idea is that you are you have to deliver a pizza, right? And so you get to the end of the
tasty though.
Not particularly. You get to the end, but you've got two pizzas in your bike, right? You've got the one that you're trying to deliver, and you've just got a spare one, which you can kind of offer up to the characters that you meet in the world.
Oh, I
And so you get to the end.
absolutely just eat it myself.
You get to the end of a level,
I'd eat them both.
and you're like, "Oh, I've not delivered my pizza yet." And I don't know whether the
And it's
actual
cold.
delivery of the pizza is right at the end of the game,
Right.
which is cold. One of the mechanics is don't get the pizza
Yeah.
wet. Like, well, why would no? Absolutely, you're right. Why would anyone want to get the pizza wet if I can't
Maybe
drive there
dry,
on
but
my
it's
bike?
stone cold.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it must be heated in the little box on the back, right, of the
Ooh,
moped.
happy.
But it's there's this mysterious kind of character talking to you through telephones when you turn up at the start of a. I think one interesting thing actually is having stopped and played something else, I closed the game down and come back to it. When I started a new level and went to that phone, the character's like, "Oh, you ignored my last call." And you don't have to answer the phone at the start of the level. You can ignore it if you want. I'm like, well, I didn't actually. I did answer it on the last level. So that progression hasn't rolled through, having closed the game down and started it back up again. So again, there's just lots of little things in this that just don't add to that level of immersion, which I think it really wants to kind of reach. So yeah, there's a lot of potential in this, and it does hit a few of those notes, just not quite convincing enough.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, and as a it's kind of one where I played a bit and I'm like, there's more interesting things to do.
Yeah.
Currently, so
like Black Ops 7.
Have you been playing Black Ops 7, Lucy?
I've played some Nuke Town on Black Ops 7. This is the most I would tolerate from playing this game. Just like playing the map that I find enjoyable, because I don't know. I don't think it's a good one of the Call of Duties.
Okay.
I think the kind of like more ragdoll, slidey mayhem movement that they introduced in Black Ops 6 last year was that was fun and entertaining. This seems like just more, because of course these things are churned out at this point. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff falling out of the sky. And it's like, I don't know, all these like gadgets and kill streaks kind of things. There's always something raining down on you, killing you, which is not too fun. So I think there's more of a, I don't know if it's even a balance issue on like people getting kill streaks and using gadgets, because it's like, I guess it's futuristic warfare that they're going for in the Black Ops series. So yeah, that sucks. And yeah, that's pretty much all I'll experience with the game. I don't need to interact with Call of Duty on any other level.
Yeah, fair.
What I do like is that you can just when you go to settings, it asks you if you just want to import the settings from the last game, which is cool. That's a nice quality of life thing. So thumbs up for that.
Because it's through like a client?
Yeah, I think everything just once you download one of them, it's basically you're just downloading the client, the Call of Duty client, and then you install games piecemeal. It's like, oh, I want to play Black Ops 5. Let me install Black Ops 5. I'm asking if there was a Black Ops 5. I presume so, because we're on Black Ops 7. I don't know. It could have been called Black Ops 2, The Cold War, Reloaded, and then skip to 6. Who knows? But yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming out of the sky, and I don't like it. But it's like, it's Nuke Town. It's fast-paced, it's stupid, it's dumb. And as long as there's a 24/7 Nuke Town map, I'm happy. Yeah,
fair.
That's all I need. Play a couple rounds of that, like on a Friday. That's it.
Nice. I assume you've had to download everything in the multiplayer kind of package to just then experience the Nuke Town kind of level?
I don't know. I don't know. Well, yes, you have to download Black Ops 7 multiplayer or whatever.
Yep.
I don't know what that entails. I don't know if you'd have to install zombies separately. I imagine you definitely have to install the campaign separately. I don't know. It was more intuitive than perhaps it's been in the past, where I just was like, okay, Black Ops 7 is out on Game Pass now. Let me go to Black Ops 7, and I could just install that, and it just worked out of the box, so that was good. So I think, quality of life kind of things, I think they're probably most of the way there now.
Nice.
But other than that, I have no compliments to give.
Yeah, fair.
I don't see as many, I think, weird costumes, but I'm sure they're coming. So
when you get
back
Nicki
into Minaj is just around the corner.
Yeah. It feels like a lot of that was aimed more at like Warzone than it was at the multiplayer version of kind of Call of Duty. Although I mean, I expect you can take across skins and stuff.
It definitely seeped into the multiplayer, because I saw all sorts of strange things. I didn't know what they were. I recognized Nicki Minaj and Snoop Dogg. The rest.
Groot, not.
Oh
Groot.
Yeah, you could Groot, because you could barely see them.
Yeah.
Because they were like invisible. And etc. Yeah, until they bring Tina Turner into it, I have nothing to say.
Thunderdome Tina Turner. Which we've asked for years now.
Why haven't they given it to me yet?
It hasn't happened.
Is it not a good idea? Would it only be me who spends £30 on that?
Exactly. When they come out with these versions, it will be Black Ops 8, the Lucy Yearwood edition, and you just get the Thunderdome Tina Turner skin. That's the only difference between it. And mate, you imagine a little statuette of Thunderdome Tina Turner just holding some ridiculous assault rifle. Perfect.
Yeah, and the only song in the whole game is "We Don't Need Another Hero." Yeah. Just plays. But you can't turn it off.
Exactly, just plays continuously, and then just as the title sequence comes, it just goes, "What's love got to do?" and then just stops. Like, it's going to be Tina Turner back catalogue. It's not. It's just that tiny little clip, and then it just one song throughout the entire thing.
I should be a game designer.
Well, it's easier these days, right? With all of the tools that are available. But I imagine there's probably a little bit of copyright around, just around Tina Turner
estate. Yeah.
We just ask them. I'm sure they'll just let us fucking crack on and just make a Tina Turner game, which is just some ridiculous clicker, essentially.
No, don't do Tina dirty like that.
No,
we're going to make a Metroidvania. We're going to make the best kind of game for our Tina.
Be like Moonwalker. So fucking like Michael Jackson Moonwalker, which was like, what, a 2D platformer, I suppose, more than anything. But then Tina Turner, in the same vein, Tina Turner Metroidvania. Yeah, perfect.
Get Lizard Cube and
Dot-Emu, yeah.
Get them on it. I bet they'd be well up for it. They'd do a great job.
Man. Who else would you bring in? Can't just be Tina Turner. You'd have to have like a kind of a ballads sort of
Michael Bolton as well. Yeah, throw him in as well. Yeah, just a Michael Bolton Tina Turner. I would love that. That'd be amazing.
Oh, and every time they punch, they just a line of a song comes out as they do it. So there's not kind of like there's not the songs going on in the background, but it's continuous, just one-liners from songs that they've sang based upon the attack that you do, and you have to then chain songs together through your attacks to create duets between Michael Bolton and Tina Turner.
So it's like almost a rhythm game as well.
Yep, done. Perfect.
Yep. ship it.
we'll use all of the skill we have in game development to bring that to people in the next 30 years or something like that, potentially. Good. When Tina Turner becomes public domain and we can kind of just do whatever we need to. Good. Right. I'm going to move on. And talk about another game that I have played, which I think I'm about halfway through. I'm not sure how long this game is, but it says my playtime is 18 hours. It's not. The Steam Deck. The issue with the Steam Deck and having a game on. I've not got it even installed on my PC. It's only installed on the Steam Deck.
Right.
But it's a game called Voron, Raven's Story. It's a great little Steam Deck game, right? And you are a raven, and again, I don't know whether it's a solo dev or whether it's a team, but it's by something called it's by Merk Games, and you embody a raven, and it's a puzzle game. Loads and loads of nice puzzle kind of elements within this game, but all in 3D, all third person as you're sort of flying around as the raven. They've got flying down really, really nicely in this game. Like, the movement feels really, really good and actually plays into the mechanics and the difficulty of the puzzles and things within this. And there is elements where it feels much more like, not to the same scale in any way, but something like God of War, where you have a big open area that you can kind of explore and fly around and stuff. And then you go into smaller like trials where you have puzzles to sort of achieve. And that might be flying around, picking up a weight and putting it on something to open a door, and then get into the door to fly through some rings and have a timed element to kind of get back around to something. But it's kind of, it feels very, very good to fly. And when the mechanic of limited flying comes in, because it's meant to be limiting, it really does feel like it. You know, you're like, cool, I'm free and I can fly and I can kind of go anywhere. The game has opened up to me in a way where the tutorialization is me flying around my island and understanding sort of how this works. And suddenly when they take that away, it is a hindrance. And like, oh no, I really want to get back to having that experience again. And they bring in elements where that hindrance exists, but when you get into the open world element, there's things in play that you can kind of pick up to keep you flying longer. So it still allows a little bit of freedom within some constraints to be able to kind of do that. So it feels good. The puzzles are not difficult, but at least are kind of ramping up in a way that it feels like you're making progress, that you're actually learning and getting better. Your skill is improving in sort of flying and things. So it's a good feeling game. And I think one of the biggest benefits, unlike pizza delivery, is that actually the narrative in this feels natural and kind of keeps moving through it. It's not like these odd interstitial conversations you're having kind of on each level individually. There is a story that runs through the entire kind of game, and you are running through these kinds of things. And actually, even in a really small element, the level of kind of emotional what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of connection, I suppose. The level of kind of emotional connection is it's kind of there enough that it doesn't need big storytelling. Like, it sets it up well and sets it up very early on, that suddenly when a realization of something happens, you're like, oh shit, okay, well, right, so this thing that happened has caused this. Without it showing you that it had caused it, you move through the game and suddenly you discover that that has been caused by an event that happened. You're like, fuck, okay, cool. I'm connecting much more with a raven than I am with a bunch of human characters, in another game. So it does that very, very well. The puzzles are really good. They start off nicely. The environments are great as well in this game. Like, they look really good, especially playing on the Steam Deck, and how smooth it plays on there as well. And it's not super detailed in terms of the graphics. It's not kind of
colorful, like
it's
like The
vibrant.
Witness or something.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very, very vibrant. But
Hold on. Witness with birds, the wit's nest.
Good, nice.
Oh,
But
I have to fill in for a deal.
It's similar to Witness. It's similar to kind of like Rhyme in its aesthetic, its color palette. It changes tone reasonably well as well, kind of through the different areas, or when you go into these sort of puzzle rooms and stuff like that. The one thing that does not holds it back, but was slightly frustrating, is when you do go into there's an element when you get out of the open world and you go into a sequence of puzzles. It felt like that went on for a little bit too long in those kinds of puzzle sequences. I'm like, cool, I've progressed and I've progressed and I've progressed, and I can see how these mechanics have worked. And then I'm like, why am I doing this again? Okay, this is maybe one puzzle too many for the amount of kind of puzzles. It's not brought everything together. The last one felt like it brought everything together. You've just asked me to do it again, just with a bit more difficulty and a bit of a quicker time to try and do it in. So I can see the challenge.
Right.
But I feel like I didn't need that in addition to the one I've just kind of done, which was a rounding out of all of the things that I've done so far, and a challenge in and of itself. This just feels like that a bit too much. So there's a touch of a downside to it, but actually it's kind of a game where it feels good to play, that I can kind of put that to the side and just go, cool, I've done it now. I've just moved to the next kind of bit, and I go back into the open world. I go back to the next area and be able to sort of play through again. Like I said, I think I'm about halfway through-ish. Not finished it by any stretch, but I've experienced several areas, several levels, and a little bit of the story to kind of feel enough of that kind of connection. And at the moment on the Steam Deck, this is the game that I kind of boot up whenever I'm sort of able to play the Steam Deck. So it feels really good on there.
Oh, you can do a barrel roll.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can. Yeah. Absolutely. So it's got a good amount of control with the flying, but not. I have no idea how realistic the flying is compared to an actual fucking bird. But it's not like you can, zoom all over the place and then like dead stop and kind of have that level. You need there's a flow to that movement where you've kind of got to think about how you're going to land and slowing down and sort of stopping, rather than how you're moving through the environment as well. Yes, you can barrel roll and stuff, but the turns are that little bit wider if you're going that little bit faster and things. And you don't have like twitch reaction sort of movement to it. There is that lovely sort of control sort of to it that you would sort of expect from flight, rather than say just something that is kind of a twitch sort of movement. And I don't know how different a raven's flight pattern is to another bird. There might be a bunch of twitchier, smaller birds, blue tits and robins and those kinds of things, which might be much more quick and adept at moving. Swifts and stuff like that, which are super like bam, just different direction, bam, different direction. Whereas I would imagine those bigger kind of birds like ravens and crows and things need that little bit more kind of float to them to sort of drift around. But it feels like how I imagine a raven flies. So it's got that kind of going for it. But yeah, invested. It feels good. It's a punchy little game, and is yeah, well worth just the experience of kind of having that level of kind of a game which does flight really well,
Yeah, yeah.
which we don't get
It's
often.
it's sitting on very positive reviews, and
Yeah,
yeah, general consensus is it's just really good flying mechanics, and sort of goes into that like kind of flow state
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
with flying. Yeah,
Very much. And
relaxing and just controls well,
yes,
pretty
yeah.
much
It's
a
kind of
vibe. Mm.
one where you, even if you make a mistake, you can kind of, you're not down and out. You can get back up and just kind of like, lift off again. And
Mhm.
similarly with the puzzles, if you make a mistake, quick reset. You're, as I was saying, sort of, there's one extra puzzle more than maybe needed in a run of puzzles when you're in the tower. But
Yeah.
actually, if you are on puzzle 3 and you get it wrong, you just go back to the start of puzzle 3. You don't
Okay,
reset kind of
that's good.
progress in,
Yeah.
in any way kind of back through. So it has good checkpointing as well. And it doesn't feel frustrating really
Mm.
in any way. So it's a nice kind of relaxing game. The puzzles aren't that intense. There's a little bit of challenge to them, but it's kind of one where you can go, cool, I'm just going to kick back for a bit and just fly around and
Yeah.
explore this like open world area, because there's things to find, uh, uh, um, stones which unlock kind of the language, which you don't know. I think, again, a bit of a narrative, like all of the other ravens can talk to each other. You can't talk, so you find like little language stones throughout to understand and decipher sort of what's being said and things. So there's a little bit of narrative to it. There's a little bit of exploration, a little bit of discovery to it, and just a really good flow of movement. So it is a relaxed kind of experience more than a
Mhm.
difficult kind of grind in terms of like puzzles and stuff. So yeah, big thumbs up
Nice.
from me on
Yeah.
Voron, um, and definitely kind of one where I'm going to continue playing. Like, it is going to be my Steam Deck game for the winter, probably. The amount
Yeah.
of time I actually get to play on the Steam Deck,
Yeah.
versus having some time on the PC to play something, having some time on the PS5 to play something. Yeah, I feel like at the moment I'm kind of not set in, but like if I've got time on the PC, I'm playing Moonlighter 2. If I've got time on the PS5, I'm playing Battlefield 6.
Mhm.
And a game that, can I say I've played it? I think I can say I'm playing Stalker 2 as well. Because that has released, but I'm playing Stalker 2 as well
Didn't
on
that come
the
out?
PS5. Came out on PC and Xbox like start of the year.
Oh,
Came out on
okay. Yeah.
PS5
Yeah.
last week, if not the last couple of days, I think.
Cool.
But I got a
Gotcha.
code for PS5, so I've started my
Mhm.
experience in Stalker 2 as well. But jumping between that and Battlefield 6, and then yeah, playing Voron on the Steam Deck. So next week we'll possibly talk about Stalker 2 a little bit,
Cool.
but
Look forward to
it's fucking massive. Like, I'm like, cool. I'm well into getting into like a bit of a post-apocalyptic
that. Yeah.
shooter, and I enjoyed Stalker back in the day. Not so much going back to the remastered version of Stalker that I played towards the beginning of the year. But I thought, yeah, Stalker, absolutely. I'm well up for sort of
Yeah.
experiencing a new story in that. So far, so good. But yeah, more to kind of. I've only played an
Well,
hour or so of it so far.
from what I understand about people who play stalker games, they only play stalker games, so they need a game to last them about 20 years. So,
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
mhm.
Um, it's it's interesting because you kind of, with something like Stalker, you have the other side of that same experience with something like Fallout,
Mm,
right? It's a similar kind of game, but Stalker is the sim end, and Fallout is like the arcade end
yeah.
on that sort of first person post apocalyptic spectrum. And I think I prefer the sim end of the genre. Having played games like
You're a
Daisy
weirdo.
and, well,
Yeah.
potentially,
Sorry.
and yeah, there's a ton of games that build into this, right? Having played
Yeah.
Stalker years and years ago originally, and kind of bouncing off it because being younger and not really understanding that sort of
Hmm.
slightly more sort of sim element to it, but then playing things like Deus Ex and and other sort of games and getting more into that, and then building into things like Daisy as when it was the armor mod, and then the Long Dark and other things like that, and kind of getting more into that survival sort of side of it, and being like rolling into Stalker 2, like, this is incredibly familiar. Like I know this. Cool. Let's go. Okay, Fallout is very familiar, and is
Hmm.
a repeated sort of kind of gameplay type and pattern across lots of games, whether it's Elder Scrolls, whether it's Fallout, whether it's another first-person shooter, with Bioshock, all of these kinds of games which have a very similar kind of feel in that first-person arcadey kind of space. And this is absolutely the other kind of end, and it feels like I'm more comfortable at that kind of end of the thing. But I'll play some more and see how comfortable I kind of get with it, because I can very easily see this where you're like, I'm being shot. I can't see where the person is. I have no idea where these bullets go. I can see, all right, there's a trace.
I'm
It's
bleeding
coming
out.
from over here. Exactly. I'm bleeding. I've got no idea what the fuck is going on. Why have these people turned on me? Why are they
Yeah.
shooting me suddenly? What the fuck is happening? I'm just gonna run with it and just fucking shoot them back. So it's it's been a heady time in the first like hour, 2 hours that I played with Stalker 2.
Mhm.
But I really want to put like a decent chunk into
Yeah.
that kind of game. That's kind of the kind of game that you think, actually really I need to play like 10, 12 hours before I kind of give an opinion on
Yeah.
it. And that might only be a quarter of the way through the actual game
Yeah.
itself, so.
And a quarter of the mechanics.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Very much. Very much. There's tons of stuff in the inventory, tons of slots that I haven't even got anything to put in yet.
Yeah.
I've only recently got a gun with an actual scope on it,
Mm.
so there's a lot to explore, definitely within that. So we will return to Stalker 2 at some point in the future. But for tonight, is there anything else you wanted to sort of chat about, Lucy? Any other games you've touched at all?
No, just pick up PowerWash Simulator every now and then on the
Nice.
Steam Deck via Xbox Cloud or whatever.
Yeah.
Good thing about that is that you can start a clean and you can just quit out of it, and it just saves your progress in
Yep.
it. So some of those last for hours. You're cleaning for hours, which is great. It's very zen. But yeah, like if I've only got like half an hour before I want to go to sleep, there's no way I'm cleaning an entire billboard or shooting gallery or toilet that comes out of the floor and all the other ridiculous things that you clean. Yeah, it's great. It's doing the exact same thing as PowerWash Simulator, the first one, except
Mhm.
you don't have to buy soap in this one, and that's great.
Oh,
Soap is free.
nice.
Soap is
Nice.
free, and I don't think it's Muckingham. I can't remember the name of the town in this one. But it was Muckingham in the first one, which is very good.
Have you been playing this? Because I know there's a big co-op kind of element to this second game, isn't there? Have you been playing this by yourself
Oh,
still?
is that? Oh yeah, I don't play with anybody. This is my zen chill out game. Do you think I really want to be
No,
hearing
that's fair.
someone in my ear be like, I'll clean this? It's like,
Yep.
no, just want to relax. Thank you.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And have you seen is it Kaiju Cleanup? Which
Yes, I think I saw briefly. Yeah.
is a bit more, it's
A lot of
kind of
cleaning
Power
going
Wash
on.
Sim
Mhm.
versus or combined with Hard Space Shipbreaker, where you're
Mhm.
actually breaking up kind of elements of it. And
Yeah.
it's not necessarily more thought, but you're kind of like, cool, here's like a task, I'll get it done. Here is another task, I'll get it done.
Mhm.
Here's another task, I'll get it done. Now I need to clean up shit after I've dismembered this giant fucking monster that's sat here. That
Yeah.
seems like it would be fun, and I enjoyed the first Power Simulator game for that zen, relaxing kind of experience of just being like, I'm just going to clean these steps. Cool. I've spent like 5 minutes. Amazing. I'm done. It pinged, and it's clean.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah.
Kaiju cleanup sort of feels like adding those extra mechanics into it makes it feel more like not a job, but
Yeah.
it takes that
You've
like
gone too
zen
far.
element
Yeah.
away from it. Yeah.
You flew too close to the sun. This is too much of a chore now.
Like
Yeah.
shit, PowerWash Simulator is like, cool, you made $100. You did the thing and you've made $100. There you go. You'll always make $100. Whereas something like this kind of makes you feel like I'm not optimizing exactly how I should be cutting these things or taking these things and moving these things. So I'd imagine it's a very different experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't need that kind of friction in my life.
That's fair. Yeah.
It's just like,
I finished work. What shall I do? More tasks that assess my performance. Brilliant.
yeah.
Perfect.
Just wanna clean.
Yeah. Cool. Let's finish there then for the evening. I'll come back to the Tempest. Solid beer. Maintained its flavour. Even having just had a sort of a sip of the last little bit, has maintained that flavour flow throughout. I have become slightly accustomed to it, so the bitterness isn't quite as harsh as it was. That's dialed back a little bit, and maybe the malty sweetness has stuck around that little bit more than it did in the first, sort of where those flavours were quite dynamic in what was going on. It has kind of amalgamated a little bit, but not a huge amount. Like, it's maintained the flavours that are pushing through. So some of them have enhanced and have stuck around a little bit, but everything is still there as well. And that flow works very, very well. So I'm really, because having drank Tempest several kind of years ago, and almost kind of thinking of them similarly to like Brew York and a couple of other breweries, that they are like stout makers. If you get a stout from them, it's going to be amazing. I cannot wait now to kind of dip into my little stout stash that I've got from them, and it may be that I don't quite wait until my week off over the Christmas period to.
Well, you're gonna have to top up at some point. You might as well just have them and top up some more.
Just buy some more. No, absolutely, yeah, more than likely. It's probably exactly what I'll do. Like in a week's time, I'm like, shit, I need to buy more beers. Like it turned up today, and Kim was like, "Oh, you brought some more beers." I'm like, "Yes, this is probably the last one before Christmas." And I just see her like, "It's not, is it? Don't."
She knows.
Why bother? Why bother even saying
she knows
it?
you enough at this point. Yeah.
I'm like, well, if I don't buy these Christmas presents for the kids, then I can just buy more beer instead.
Yeah.
I don't need more shit. I need more shit.
Yeah. This is the beer before the beer. Yeah.
I think that, to be fair, I think you need to find someone that does like some slightly lower beers, like some 6, 7, 8% stouts. So that can be the first beer. And then I can move on to the 11s and then find some barley wines from somewhere and, just not come up from a stupor for like the whole week, essentially.
Beer hibernation. Yeah. Sounds good.
It does sound good. That's what the winter is meant to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Perfect. So, dear listener, if you want to chat to us, go to outoflives.net and come over to our Out of Lives Discord page as well. And maybe go over to our Out of Lives YouTube channel. All of the places that you can find us and listen to the podcast, watch the podcast, look at the beers that we have been drinking and enjoying. Go back, listen to last week's episode where we had Sam Ibbotson on from Meteor Pixel to chat about a game called Little Corners, which we've been playing. And hopefully launching into next year with a few more friends coming on to the show to come and talk to us about their games or talk to us about the beers that they're kind of making and stuff. So we've said this a lot. We've occasionally dabbled and had people in to try and put some effort into bringing some more people across to join us every now and again on the episodes. So there's that to look forward to. So subscribe on your podcast service of choice to just get that right in your ears as soon as it's available for you. You can follow us over on Blue Sky at Out of Lives Pod, I think, or maybe it's just Out of Lives over there. Oh, fuck knows. I don't even know these days. Man, I've signed into work social media now as well.
Oh,
So
man.
I'm dealing with too many things. It's outoflives.net on Blue Sky. There we go. Someone has just followed us. Not just earlier today, potentially, because I haven't looked at it all day. Or you can hit me up at Nova47 over on Blue Sky. If Lucy, you would like people to potentially talk to you in the internet in any kind of way, how do they do that?
Always welcome. Juicy Loose 9. In most things, whether I log in and see them is another question. But yeah, Juicy Loose 9 everywhere. Yeah.
Nice.
On Substack, there's Substack's actually, it's like I follow and people follow me. A very small, nice little subset of people. So yeah, Substack is actually a nice way of seeing alternative, like, kind of views than viewpoints from just like mainstream media.
Yeah.
So go there and like follow some people that I follow. Yeah, it's not as tainted as other places yet, so, or at least what I have curated.
It's an easier place to curate stuff and voices that you want to kind of listen to that aren't part of. I mean, that are also part of mainstream, but give themselves another outlet to be able to kind of write about stuff outside of their jobs or kind of the things that they kind of have to do. A lot of kind of Substack, I suppose, is not necessarily hobbyist, but is more, allows them the freedom to be a little bit more open, I think, in some senses, even those people that are in games media and other kind of places as well.
Yeah, it's a nice place for the time being.
Yeah. Perfect. So I mean, go to blogs. They're good. Listen, lots of people these days have another outlet against their main place of wherever they're kind of putting their work and stuff. So it's always good to explore and find those other places and potentially, this is the thing I've been trying to find for years and years and years. It's kind of like the RSS system, right? But actually for web pages that you don't have to necessarily sign up to. Like I don't want AI to become any part of this search for me, but something that Google has been trying this in like the news feed, like just on your homepage on a Google phone now. It's like, here are things that you have slight interest in. Like, cool, yes, this, no, not this. I don't want to look at this at all. I don't want to get anything from this kind of outlet or on this sort of topic and stuff. And it does a reasonable kind of job of that, but it's all mainstream stuff. There's no like little websites or individual pages or individual bloggers and those kinds of things. Like that is lost in the world of the internet, right? So I need something that kind of...
I think every page should just come with an RSS capability automatically. If I was ruler of the internet, that's what I'd make sure.
Absolutely. It would be so good because you can set specific criteria to be able to search for things and go, here's a recommendation. Well, perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for. Or, no, you're not quite there. This was interesting, but maybe not. Yeah, definitely. Web 3.0 needs to be
just
better.
RSS.
Better. Just RSS. Yeah. We don't need any of this other shit. That is all we need.
Why would we? We don't need blockchain.
No, exactly.
We just need RSS.
Could you produce an image for me, which is Arnold Schwarzenegger fighting an alien, even though they've never appeared in the franchise before, or him screaming loudly in Margaret Thatcher's face, or something absolutely absurd, and it will do that for you. You can get that, I'm sure, but it's shit.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. Although I now kind of want to go and have a look and put that in and try and do that. Cool. Good. I'm glad Adil was here to give us on this tangent in spirit and throw us just down a rabbit hole of discussion. But for this week, we have been Tanked Up. Thank you for joining us. Bye.
All I have in my head is Arnold Schwarzenegger shouting at Margaret Thatcher, but it's for some reason it's Arnold Schwarzenegger in Conan the Barbarian. I don't know why it's that. Arnie. Bye.
Oh, good. I had
What is it that iteration?
I had more whatever his character is from Jingle All the Way, just in his fucking Turbo Man outfit, screaming at her. Like, yeah.
I bet she's got all of the Turbo dolls. Yeah, just hoarding them for herself.
www.outoflives.net